Raw, May 4th, 2026. This edition of Raw had zero women's wrestling on it for some. I mean, we already know the reason. I mean, the women either get booked crappily or into circles, or the women will just get booked into tag teams, but then no effort gets put into those tag teams. So yeah, zero women's wrestling on this episode of Raw, which is kind of crazy because it's 2026 and the roster stacked for the women. But, you know, they're probably doing some AI garbage with the men. So not enough time, you know, too much filler with the men, not enough time with the women. So let's just, you know, have them just, I don't know, backstage segments and not in the ring. Imagine paying $11 million as people do in the front row and back row and nosebleeds and these TKO prices nowadays, and you don't even see one woman's match in 2026. Oh, stupid comment. Let's see. The Gooners can't. The Gooners can't go 1 week without seeing women wrestle. Wow. See, usually, I mean, Twitter is a cesspool, but, you know, when I see comments like this, I'm just, you know, okay. Seems like you're the Gooner prefer. Wow. It's early in the morning, so my brain isn't working all the way. Seems like you prefer gooning to men. Sure. All right. Okay. I'm not even gonna. Yeah. So if you're a fan of women's, okay. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I just kind of feel my brain getting smaller. Okay, but yeah, no women's wrestling on this. That was such a man. That was wow. I swear, some people just don't really. Not everyone deserves basic human rights, and not everyone deserves technology. Sometimes I just think sometimes people, like, every time I go on Twitter and I see comments like that, I just say to myself, like, sometimes certain people just need to be subjected to Stone Age and Caveman era. But anyways, the show starts off with the Creed brothers now being in lucha masks. So of course, you know, this is heartbreaking, you know, because the Creed brothers were underutilized. And then they were just misused, and then they were just being put into catering for like a year, and then they, you know, lost their first match back, and then, you know, they had Akira Tozawa have like 1 or 2 matches to where he was able to showcase himself, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, Akira Tozawa's finally getting a push! Oh my gosh, Akira Tozawa, he can snap! Who knew he can wrestle like this?" And you know, it's kind of sad to the point where you wrestling for 20 years, you come to WWE, they job you out, and people forget that you can wrestle. Akira Tozawa in Japan, Akira Tozawa in 205 Live, and Akira Tozawa in NXT was putting on classics. But, you know, the bubble fans and the casuals who see this man being jobbed out all the time, or just reading ESPN ads with Otis and Maxine Dupree, of course, you know, I'm not surprised that they're surprised that he can wrestle. It's honestly kind of sad. But yeah, Triple H will just, you know, book you into irrelevancy. It's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, we get 3 white guys who are luchadors but don't speak one lick of Espanol, and then it's a trios match. So now we're just doing AEW type style match filler. You know, not sure why this. Okay. Roman Reigns comes in a Hummer EV. He's angry and looking for his cuzzo, and then he says, "Hit my music," but you're not even gonna go out, so Seth's music hits instead because he was on the card first. So then Seth's day is going pretty well, and then, you know, he kind of just gets hit from the back. He gets attacked. He gets attacked from behind, not hit from the back. He gets attacked from behind by Braun Breaker, and the screenshot's hilarious. It just shows Seth minding his business and Braun flying, but then Seth gets speared by Braun Breaker, and of course the seals and the trained whales in the audience say, "One more time, one more time, one more time." But there's only one problem. When Seth was getting destroyed by Braun Breaker, they booed Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker does a spear, they cheer Braun Breaker, and then they boo Seth, and then they say, "One more time," and then they start booing Braun again and cheering Seth once they know he's not going to do the spear on Seth again. These all, you know, but honestly, I mean, if I was paying $11 trillion to attend a show that wasn't even exciting in the first place, just to get drunk and have a good time with my friends and watch people touch each other, of course I would, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't even be dumb enough to be even paying stuff like that. Like I never really understood why people pay these prices, because a lot of these people in the shows cheer and boo whoever, heel or face, and then they'll just most of them will have beer in their hand. Most of them will be the supermarkets with all the merch, and no girl beside them. A lot of them will be kids, and a lot of them will just be sports fans. Or if you go front the first three rows, they're not even fans. They're just sports people and NBA players and baseball players and football players and UFC. So yeah, like. these audiences don't matter, but it's just crazy how sealish and trained seal, like they're just such NPC. The fans are bots, bro. I swear, they're just a bunch of androids, just like the same. I guarantee you, the same AI they use to make storylines are the same audience members that are appearing every Raw and SmackDown. Oh man. So then we get a segment with Roxanne being questioned by Liv because Finn was in the clubhouse. And then the segment didn't really go anywhere. We had, Raquel looking great as usual. And that's usually what I usually care about when it comes to these segments, is just Raquel and more Raquel and Raquel. And then Finn Balor goes out, and then he looks like he did in 2016, but somehow younger, because the dude just aged backwards. I swear, it was like the Judgment Day was really aging this man up. It's crazy. But yeah, Michael Cole mentions Trouble in Paradise, which is kind of crazy because, they kind of tried to lowball Xavier and Kofi. It's almost like that was on purpose. It's almost like Michael Cole has been on commentary for almost 65 years, and he knows that the Trouble in Paradise is Kofi's move. Interesting. But then, the AI being the AI booking, we have JD McDonald's, or Jordan Devlin, as I usually like to call him, versus Prince Devitt. We had the same match last week. If I'm not tripping, not even last week, whenever, we had the same exact match. Like, I know I'm not wrong, because I know I'm not having deja vu, but we just had Finn Balor versus Jordan Devlin. Like, we just had it. JD McDonuts versus Finn Balor. So I know I'm not wrong, because I know we're just not going in circles. I know. Anyways, Maxine, she proves her loyalty to the Judgment Day by taking out Finn Balor with the hammer. But I mean, it's just going to be a firecracker situation. No matter how much loyalty you prove, you're still going to get your back, stabbed by the people you're trying to. Anyways, Logan Paul and the rest of the Vision and Paul Heyman. So we got the two Pauls. That's crazy. Like, the Vision had two Pauls and two Brons, but the two Pauls are talking to each other. I wasn't paying attention to this segment at all. It's kind of hard to, because the Vision just something. It's just creative has really failed them. Yeah. So yeah. After that segment that I had on mute, admittedly, we go to Penta having his title around his waist, but the Intercontinental Championship scene is kind of dead. And then we get Ethan Page and Rusev, and then we have Rusev being Rusev in the match, and kind of getting destroyed because creative really does not like this man. And then we have Rusev doing some things on the outside to Penta, but then Penta gets destroyed, and with one of the most devastating looking fisherman suplexes I've seen in pro wrestling by Ethan Page. So I guess that's his new finisher. Ethan Page is having a new finisher every week, but they're always looking good and impactful, so I don't mind. But yeah, what the hell is your Intercontinental Champion doing losing in the middle of a Raw? in a random ass tag match that means nothing. So not only is it the final Raw before Backlash, you have your Intercontinental Champion lose this match. That's so stupid. So yeah, bro, I swear. So this has to be AI, bro. This has there's no way. Like, there's just no thinking. There's no thought being put into any of this. And this is the go home show. So yeah, So Roka comes out and that song, "Get That Money, I'm a Flex. You're now rocking with the best." They put zero effort into the music, and I don't know why the hell Godzilla is even. I don't know why they changed 4x4, but then they kept that atrocious SmackDown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Me on the way, counting zeros every day. We on the way. Hey, I don't know why they kept that shit garbage, but then they got rid of 4x4. If anything, I'd rather have 4x4 than Godzilla. Even though we love Juice and Eminem, it doesn't fit pro wrestling, especially Raw. It's so out of. And on top of that, Eminem can't even say alcohol on the intro. So it's just, I could swallow a bottle of red Oliver. I'm just like, there's a censor within like the first sentence of the theme song, but y'all picked this as the theme song. Bro can't even say the first line. I don't know. That's bothered me. I don't know why they changed 4x4. That's so stupid to me. I hate that decision to keep the SmackDown's theme song does not hit. It doesn't. If you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, have bank account or something. But why? Y'all probably don't even know. Probably date myself here. But yeah, if you're going to do a countdown to a intro, have bank account, but not that. Anyways, bro, I remember Zelina Vega had a theme song that sounded like the SmackDown theme song, and that get crickets all the time. Like, no exaggeration, nobody would even care. But yeah, Sol Ruka, we get this whole. I went on a whole tangent because I truly think that pro wrestling and music just really, it goes together. Wrestling, you know, like the theme song of something really matters. But Sol Ruka is about to sign her contract, and then we get Austin Theory and Maxine Dupree talking again. So this is like the 15,000th week they've talked and teased into it and everything. It's kind of like how they did. Can't remember if it was it was the New Day and Grayson Waller talking. Then they ended up together. So I mean, cool. The Vision having a woman would be cool. But most likely, I mean, if the Vision does get back into the beef they're already in beef with Seth Rollins. So I mean, we're going to see Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch again. But the only problem is Maxine can't wrestle, and Becky Lynch already had matches with her. Her struggle to beat Maxine Dupree, but Maxine can't wrestle because she's not trained like that. She didn't have an NXT run, so every match of hers would have looked sloppy and floppy. Her facial expressions would be all over the place. So they kind of just threw it to the wolves and said, here's a title. here's a push. And then they're like, oh, this isn't going well. Well, how about we just train you and make you rehearse matches 12 weeks at a time and then put you back on TV. So that didn't go well. So, I mean, Division having Maxine Dupree, I couldn't care less. And then she's getting ready to sign her contract. Sol Ruka's going to sign her contract, and then Becky Lynch comes out. And every time I hear that Wonder Years theme song now, I just think of that dude lip syncing, and it was off sync. So I don't know I think it was just lipping because it wasn't in sync. Sol Ruka says the B word because for the past, I don't like 2026 especially, everyone says the B word nowadays for like a cheap pop. So then Becky Lynch, she goes to hit her, and then, you know, Adam Pearce gets the hit, and then Sol Ruka slips on the thing, and I'm just wondering, like, who's lubing these ropes? Who's putting baby oil on these ropes? Because LA Knight, Finn Balor, a few other people this year especially have slipped on those ropes. So I just wonder how are these ropes so slippery on the main roster? Because I haven't seen Sol Ruka slip on the ropes in NXT when she was doing the Soul Snatcher. Interesting. And then we have the Usos saying some words. Joe Hendry has a performance, a concert talking about fire Logan Paul. Logan Paul has another promo, and then bro, just when Logan Paul gets upset on these promos is hilarious. But the part I'm laughing at is we get another thing between Seth and Braun Breaker. So it's nothing but brawls and. Okay, well, Seth, he hits Braun with chair. So Seth and Braun have another segment, but it's the same thing. But instead of Seth being on top victorious, it's now Braun Breaker being on top victorious, because that's just copy and paste. This is all AI slop. It has to be AI slop. There's no other way it's not AI slop. We see first of all, we have a rematch, and then we have another rematch, and then another rematch, and then another pull-apart brawl, but no women wrestling on the show this week. How the hell does that make sense? And then, because AI slop, we have Obafemi having an open challenge with no story, so we have him retire Brock Lesnar. But just open challenge, because we have no story for him. You know, that's what you call fail to follow up and capitalize. Because after a while, imagine if we have 2 years of Obafemi having an open challenge, then what? I mean, come on now. I wouldn't even be surprised. Oh, geez, man. The main roster. People want to be on the main roster so bad, but NXT and AAA are peak, bro. I don't understand. I don't get why people want that WrestleMania moment. AJ Styles even said, yeah, WrestleMania isn't what it used to be. Yeah, it's lost its luster. Absolutely. I don't get it. I don't understand, bro. I don't get it. People are doing so well in other companies, and then they're just like, yeah, well, I want to be in WWE, and then they get jobbed out putting catering, and then their stock goes down, and then probably get released or whatever, or they'll probably just leave on their own terms. Just to get that WWE shine. WWE doesn't even have it shine. TKO and Triple H's bad booking are not doing it any favors. And then on top of that, Nick Khan doesn't like the fans, so that's not gonna. Anyways. Yeah, Obafemi destroys Otis again, because Otis is Otis. I remember when Otis, man, he was the talk of the town. Him and Chad Gable's rivalry and they were building up, and we were just wondering, like, bro, Otis keeps getting these big pops. We wonder when he's gonna turn on Chad, and then Triple H booked it to be a million years after the rivalry ended, so we didn't get any sort of payoff after. And then Otis kept getting, slapped around by Chad just to have the rivalry end unceremoniously, and then he revisited it 6 months later. Nobody cared, and then ever since then he's just been a jobber and catering for a million years until they need somebody to lose, and then they pick Otis. Man, Otis has been done dirty for so long. It's really unfortunate. Oh, geez. Dude, it's so sad, bro. Oh, geez, man. Seth Rollins and the Street Profits and Joe Hendry are now a thing, because Joe Hendry just got called up to be in the tag teams. They call people up without a plan. Just don't really know what to do with them, though. Ethan Page says that he has his eye on the Intercontinental Championship, and he's undefeated. Well, you think? I'm pretty sure that he defeated the Intercontinental Champion already, so I don't get why we had Penta lose to Ethan Page. If Ethan Page has his eye on it, makes zero sense. But another thing that doesn't make any sense to me is the fact that Sol Ruca, She got called up and signed her official contract to Raw. So why the hell was she losing for no reason to Liv Morgan on Raw before she was even official? Just an unnecessary L. I don't understand. I don't think they understand. I just think they just let the AI do whatever. Speaking of slop, we get this storyline. We get this promo between Io and Asuka, and then Asuka does the mist, and then that's about it. I wasn't paying attention to this. And then we get the Creeds, who are now luchadors. I didn't care about. I had this whole match on mute. We had, butt stuff and the headbutt, and then that was about it. And then the main event happened to where, we get the tribal chief, and then Jacob does the Tongan death grip, and then the eye gouge from Roman, and then Roman's coughing up, and then the show ends, and then that's it. How exhilarating. All right. Well, I don't know, man. This is not it. Especially since it's the go home show to Backlash. Good for Xavier and Kofi, but that's about it, really. Nothing happened on this show, and no women's wrestling. That's honestly kind of absurd. Like the go home show to Backlash had no women on it as far as the wrestling is concerned. That's kind of concerning, but it is what it is.